5, 6, 7, 8. It's a mess. Oh, it's a mess.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the podcast. It's a mess, sis. So, what exactly is a mess? A mess is a situation or a state of affairs that is confused or full of difficulties.
The mess is when things don't go the way you plan. It is when you have to go off script, improvise, ad lib, sit through the awkwardness, and breathe through the pain until you come out on the other side, because you will come out on the other side. It is everything that makes life interesting and transformative. It is what we are here to do. It is how we learn how to be.
So, join us as we dive into this week's mess. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to It's a Mess, Sis. I'm Jessica, co-host on my favorite podcast. I am a writer, a singer, and an overall tough-ass weirdo, a millennial woman living in LA and figuring this shit out. While I've had plenty of strategies about how things would go, my life had other plans. So I'm wading through this mess with y'all, one thought-provoking topic at a time.
And I'm Rena. I'm your other podcast co-host. I am a licensed social worker by trade. I'm a writer, musician, film buff, tech enthusiast, artist, truth seeker, and overall creative director / producer by passion. I'm repping the East Coast. I am a DMV native. I was born in DC, spent some time in PG and MoCo for those who know, and I now reside in Baltimore.
Whoop, whoop. So that's a little bit about us. And now we're going to get into the episode with this is actually episode 18. And this episode is titled, What Has Your Intentions Done for You Lately? And Rena's just going to kind of explain what we mean by that. So, buckle in, get ready for this ride.
Yes, it's going to be a wild one. Not really. Okay, so this is what we're doing. At the beginning of the year, our second episode, or really our first full-length episode, we set intentions. And it's halfway through the year, so we just thought it would be a natural thing to do a mid-year check-in regarding our intentions, revisit our definitions, discuss the impact that our intentions have had on our lives so far, and just discuss how we're coping with our intentions. Are they something that we want to redefine, renegotiate? Do we want to add to them? Do we want to eliminate anything? Or are we pretty much firm in them? So that's what we're getting into. Also, feel free to pause throughout the sections, especially if you set your intentions with us in the beginning, or if you haven't set intentions yet, you may take the opportunity to do so, because intentions are something you can set at any time. And just really think about what you want the rest of your year to look like. So as we go through it, the definitions, the impact, and the cope, which is the dick, of course, just pause and we'll make it clearly known to you all what section we're in, and just jot it down or just take some time to reflect and then press play when you're ready.
Yeah, that was dope. Okay, so now that we got the gist of what's happening, we're going to go ahead and jump right into the definition. And I will start, if that's okay with you.
Are we not doing the mess?
Oh, you're right. Okay. So what's your mess this week, sis?
I'll go first since I brought it up. This week, it's been a mess. It's been a mess. It's been full of failures, actually. It's just been, I've really had to lean on our last episode about self-care because this was a week for me. This was a week of things not going according to plan at all. And me just having to ride through it. Things still aren't going to plan. I got somebody on eBay right now talking about they didn't receive a package that I sent to them. And I think they're scammers.
Oh, no.
So after this episode, I'm going to have to go ahead and, pull out my tracking numbers, because I have those, and tell them that they need to call the post office to see where their package is. And if people are stealing around your way, that's not my fault. So, but I'm chill because I'm holding on to this good old red Jasper, which is really calming, grounding, and balancing me right now.
Praise him.
I'm good, y'all. I am good, y'all. I am good. So, yes.
Good.
What about you, Jess? What have you been going through this week?
I feel like we had like a very similar week. I don't have any packages on eBay because I don't sell shit. But but like this week was like, really, it was just it kind of did play into last week's episode too, just about self-care. So I've done some things to take care of myself. In the process, there were some scares and some like, unexpected activity and events, just more added to my week, so that made my week busier than I anticipated. And it was just a hectic week altogether. And
Yes.
I feel like when things are thrown at me, even still, I'm really trying to learn, and I think I've said this over a few episodes. I'm trying to learn how to be more go with the flow, but I'm still who I am, which is like I very
Mm.
much like a plan, I very much like a schedule, I very much like a routine. And so there were so many things that were thrown at me this week that were just like I wasn't expecting all of this, and it just there was news that was attached to it. It was just a lot. It was a very long, very productive, very busy, unexpectedly busy week. But
Mm.
I am making it. It was a mess. It might still be a little bit of a mess, but I am also okay.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, we making it out
Yeah.
here. Okay, so now we
Yes.
are to the definition. Yes.
Yes. We are going to
Okay.
define now our intentions, or what intentions mean, what setting an intention is for us.
Right. So to prepare for this, I listened to the previous episode about our
Good for
intentions, and
you.
I know, I was like, oh my God,
I
look at us,
didn't.
we're babies in the podcasting. Look at us. Um, but my personal definition has stayed the same from that one to this one. And in case you didn't listen to that one, my definition then and now is I feel like an intention is the space between the mind and the heart. I feel like it's the desires of both, and it's allowing those feelings to merge with reality. And in keeping with who I've been these past couple episodes, of course, I went to Google just to see what they actually define intention as. And so, according to Google, intention is a mental state that represents a commitment to carrying out an action or actions in the future. Intention involves mental activities such as planning and forethought. So I think that kind of fits with my own personal definition.
Hmm.
Um, and we're doing a check-in um, on our intentions, and that is defined as talking with someone. And I'm thinking if we're talking to ourselves in order
Hmm.
to report or find out new information. And I thought that was kind of fitting because we're coming in to see like what's new with your intentions. I thought that was cool. So at the end of last year, started this year, I set out to thrive. That was my intention. That's what I set out to do. To seek experiences that create memories, to meet new people that created moments for laughter and opportunities to learn. That was my intention. We are at the halfway mark, like Rena mentioned, and I can say I have been thriving, sis. Your girl been out here thriving. Um, no, I have created like so many new memories. I have so many new acquaintances, so many new friendships. I have had a couple crushes on people and some disappointments. I took a certificate course in hospitality management, and this podcast has also been a constant source of learning. All in all, despite or maybe even because of COVID-19, I've been doing a damn thing. So I can say that like my definition of thriving and what that looked like so far in these 6, 7 months have, I've done well, for myself.
I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear that
Yeah.
that's how it's working out for you so far. And
Yeah. What about?
that's and
Oh, I'm sorry. Go
um
ahead.
no, that's all right. So for me, Jess, you did the work and went back and listened.
Uh-huh.
I did not. I just reviewed our last outline. Um, and it's interesting in reviewing that outline that I see that I looked up the definition, like I did your kind of thing, where mine was Merriam-Webster. Yours is
Oh,
the
nice.
great Google. And I got
Right.
rid of that, I think, after like this episode.
We
Uh,
swapped.
yeah, yeah. So I just tossed that out this time and I just went straight to my personal definition because that's what I do. So my personal definition for setting an intention was and is that it's what I set out to do and the outcome I would like to achieve. So that is my definition of setting an intention. It's pretty much deciding what I want to do and the outcome I would like to achieve. So the example I used was this podcast, actually, that I wanted to provide a safe space where I can be vulnerable so that I can remain open and be able to learn, create, and experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that is coming true. That is definitely coming true. But my main intention, my overall intention for the year was freedom and to be open to what that means. And I also acknowledge that I do not know what it would look like. And I can definitely say that since a few months, it's been 6 or 7 months have passed, I think I'm definitely coming to an understanding of what freedom is. And it's starting to show me what I really meant by freedom.
Okay.
So that has been interesting.
Okay.
So I say that we should just get into the impact because I feel like that's where I
Oh,
can
but I have a
really.
question. Oh, okay. You're gonna
Okay, you have
explain
a
more because
question?
I'm like, I think you were saying you're gonna get into the impact because that's where you can like delve into what you mean.
Yes.
Okay, because I was like, girl, you left me on the edge. I'm like, wait, but what do that mean though? Okay, so I'm gonna wait until after you said your impact before I like be like, what you mean? Okay, so we're in the impact now for those of you that are keeping track or maybe wanting to do a pause and do your own impact. Um, so for me, at the start of the year and in the intention setting episode, I was tremendously heartbroken. Like, boy, when I tell you. Those of you who've been here since the beginning will remember, but I can honestly look back over these past 6 or 7 months and say that I am like healing. Like I'm like, wow, okay. I won't lie and say I'm completely healed, but I am a completely different person than the one who started this year out. I am allowing myself to exist out in the open. In these past couple of months, I have been more vulnerable with myself and my friends and my family than I have in the previous decade. And it feels good. You know, it's nice to know that my friends will listen when I'm having a bad day, that they will answer my calls or texts after I've gone MIA for a couple days in search of silence and peace. I have learned that what I needed was there all along, and I can't believe like it took me so long to just like experience such joy. The impact is that I am excited about my life right here and right now. And we've talked about it in a few episodes of how it's very like future thinking and very like forward
Right.
thinking, and I think we kind of discussed how we thought about things, but I'm really just enjoying the experience and just living in what is right now and what tomorrow holds and maybe what's today, and just being excited to live there. And so I feel like that has the idea of thriving to me is just being present and being open and being aware. And I don't know, the vulnerability that I've experienced in these last few months has been something I was so afraid of for so long. Just
Mm,
being vulnerable with other people is just a very fragile and sensitive place. And I just didn't know that people had the capacity to hold me fragilely, if I'm
mm,
honest. And
mm,
just being able to let some of that pressure go and just allowing people to hold me so I don't have to do all of the holding of myself has been so rewarding. I feel lighter than I ever have. I feel seen. I feel taken care of. Like my friends and family, people have just shown up in ways that I never allowed them to show up. And I feel like that has been the impact overall.
wow. I think what I, not I think, what I vibe with from what you're saying is that you're in the present.
Hmm.
And it sounds like to thrive is to be in the present for you.
Yes.
And I find that fascinating because I also feel like my intention has also rooted me in the present.
Yeah.
Because like I said, mine is freedom. That's what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And are you finished? Because I don't want
I
to.
am
Are you
done.
complete?
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
confused.
Okay.
So this
So
is my impact.
so this is my impact.
Yeah.
I'm just, first of all, I just want to say that I'm just really thrilled that we're doing this because I haven't taken the time to revisit my intention. Like I know that my word is freedom, but to really sit down and kind of review this, this is the first time that I'm doing it, and I'm glad that I did. Um, so in reviewing everything, at first, my first gut instinct was like, I don't see it. Freedom,
Mm-hmm.
like I don't see it because I didn't see it the way I thought I would see it.
Mm-hmm.
And this forced me to sit down and really think about like how freedom has shown up over the past 6 or 7 months.
Yeah.
I expected it to be having a job I wanted, financial freedom, traveling, being happy, and being free of worry.
Mm-hmm.
And it has not turned out to be any of that. And I don't say that in a bad way. I don't say
Mm-hmm.
that in a pessimistic way. I'm just saying it in this way that this is what it is.
Yeah.
And I feel like something else is happening, something that I didn't even think to consider.
Okay.
And I feel like I am working towards freeing myself emotionally. And that
Oh,
is not what I considered when I said that.
wow. Yes.
And it wasn't something that I knew I needed to do. So also when you brought up vulnerability, I'm like, okay, like I have some of that too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so so that's been the greatest impact, just realizing that I am freeing my truth.
Mm-hmm.
And it has been hard. I've been more vulnerable with myself and others over
Mm-hmm.
these past few months than I ever have in my entire life. And I have this podcast to thank for that, um,
Yes.
a lot. And that's
Same.
also why I started doing this podcast.
Yeah.
And so I find myself now being honest or really searching for the truth and in my past and in my feelings now and my feelings about past events.
Mm-hmm.
I have cried more than I've ever cried this year, ever cried in my life. Like
Wow.
in these past 6, 7 months, I'm just always crying.
I love it.
I
Let
feel
that shit
like
out.
I feel like I'm crying for all of the times I wouldn't allow myself to cry in the past. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, and that's because I wasn't fully acknowledging things.
Mm-hmm.
Or I wasn't allowing myself to acknowledge things the way I authentically felt them until now.
Yeah.
So the one thing I can say, because I know people are like, man, that sounds horrible. You just sounds like crying all the time. But every time I kind of get through that hurdle and I allow myself to acknowledge what I feel this breakthrough from unlocking the truth. And in that moment, I do feel a release and I do feel a freedom as a result of that
Yeah.
release.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, I feel like I'm releasing myself from a lot of the guilt and shame, doubt, and judgment that I have held over the years. I'm
Mm-hmm.
essentially releasing myself from my own judgments because there were many. There were so
Wow.
many. And I'm allowing myself to breathe and to not be perfect. I feel like I was trying to work towards perfection. And now I realize perfection really it doesn't exist in that standard way that I feel like I've been taught.
Right.
And I don't know if perfection is really the goal. It's joy. That's the goal that I'm going for.
Yeah.
And it may not look perfect, just like this freedom intention does not look perfect. In my definition of perfect, this is not it.
Right.
But I understand that it's helpful and that this is a way for me to get the freedom that I do envision. So this is the
Mm-hmm.
freedom that I didn't know that I needed to be set free from.
Damn.
Or
And you
or this
said
is
it too.
yeah. I did. I said it initially. I said, I don't know
Mhm.
how freedom is going to show up.
Yep, you
So
did.
I had this like I had this idea that it was not going to be the cushy, like nice sailing boat, yacht, money type of freedom that I really wanted it to be, or I thought I
Right.
wanted it to be. And I'm not saying
Mhm.
I can't have that in the future, but I do understand that I have to kind of get through this freedom
Yeah.
first
Mhm.
because I literally locked myself up in an emotional cage. So I have to let
Oh,
myself out and I have to get used to my emotions so that I can be.
yes.
So that's been the impact for me.
Yo, that is beautiful. I'm so glad that we took the time to revisit our intentions too, because I feel like just having the opportunity to see what setting an intention can do for you. And regardless of whether for me it looked, however it looked, and for you it looked unexpected, but it's still doing what it's supposed to do. I don't know. I'm so impressed. And like I just want this to be an ever growing journey of setting intentions and revisiting and having this understanding with yourself. Like I don't know, I feel empowered by it, by having set
Yeah.
this intention. And now with you recommending doing this episode, it really did make me sit down and think like, okay, yeah, this is what I was hoping for. I see, what asking the universe for this thing has done for me. And like you said, it doesn't, well, but for me, it didn't have a certain look. So it was allowed to look anyway. But for you, even if it doesn't look how you thought, you're still, I don't know, I'm just so proud of you. The vulnerability that you've shown from even when I first met you to now is just impressive. And I want to give you your shout out and your kudos and your flowers, all of those things. So
Thank you.
yes. Yeah, of course. That's
I
dope.
appreciate
That's
that.
dope. Yeah. Okay. So now I guess we're to our cope then.
Yes.
Is that where we are, or were you still going?
Yes. No, I'm complete. We are coping now. So
Okay.
just let us know
Yes.
how you're
Um,
coping.
all right. Well, I am coping by continuing on this journey, by recognizing that I am capable of anything that I put my mind to, as evidenced by the past few months. Um, I cope by continuing to lay myself bare,
Mm,
to no longer hide my pain and weakness from myself. Because with shining a light on those things which had brought me shame or uncomfortability, I've been able to repair them, or at the least work on mending them. And it feels nice, even when it feels icky. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but like, there's been some things that have come to light in these past few months that it's not necessarily like the happiest or the
right.
brightest or the most fun, or there's been some, like I said, there's been some disappointment, there's been some shock, there's been some some things that necessarily wouldn't be considered pleasant, but because I didn't shy away from them, I didn't feel ashamed, I didn't feel the need to suppress talking about it or whatever. I've been able to shine a light on a thing, and it feels icky for that moment, but now it's just like, okay, that was a thing, and now I'm moving on, and
Right.
it's just nice to be free of the weight that I held on to for so long of being solely strong for myself. It just feels nice to not have to carry it alone. I cope by being grateful and
Mm,
being proud of this circle of people in my life who have shown up for me in so many ways and continuously shows up for me, because it's not a one-time thing and it looks different from person to person. And I don't know, I'm just in awe, honestly. I'm just in
wow.
awe. Yeah, so that's kind of how I'm coping. I'm just here.
I I love that. Like that hit me. That hit me when you said I am coping by being thankful with
Hmm.
gratitude. You
Hmm.
know, I that's amazing. And another thing I noticed, and that's what's so interesting when we do these episodes, because we go and we decide on a topic and then we separate and we don't talk for like a week and then we do our own thing and then we come
Right.
together and in a way like I feel like we always have some similarities that run through our pieces.
Yeah.
So your word is thrive, and then you're
Hmm.
saying you're coping by no allowing yourself to like feel your pain and your weakness,
Hmm.
and releasing things that, or shining light on things that brought you shame or made you uncomfortable. And in a way, all of that has helped you to thrive. And I feel like that's similar in my process of freedom,
Yeah.
where I'm like, I'm owning my feelings, I'm allowing myself to feel, I'm releasing shame and
Yeah.
guilt and doubt. So that in a way, I don't think I realized that when I said I wanted freedom, that I wanted to thrive. And it
Hmm.
seems like you can't thrive without feeling, without
Right.
figuring out how to allow yourself to be. And I feel like that's the thing that I keep hearing you say, is that you're just allowing yourself to be. You're allowing
Yeah.
yourself to be weak in this moment, be strong in this moment. You're allowing yourself to be helped by friends and family. You're honoring your feelings.
Mm.
And even when it doesn't feel so great, it's just like, I guess, being present and feeling, that is what's leading you to like being aware and allowing you to be so thankful for all that's around you.
Right.
So I just think that's fascinating.
Dope.
So yes, I just feel like we always find a way to kind of mirror each other or complement each other in this way. And
Yeah.
I don't think I realized how similar our intentions were. I was like, oh,
Hmm.
she just want to have the time of her life and be fun. I just want to be free. I want to be
Right.
free. Like, I had this image of me with like my little stick with like my bandana tied at the end with all my belongings, and then I'm just
Hey,
gonna go
Huckleberry Finn.
run. Who?
Huckleberry Finn.
I was thinking more Harry Tubman, but
Oh,
I
you're right.
mean,
Probably
I
that's probably a bit.
mean,
That's
it's just
probably
a little
better.
bit. Like, I'm going off the freedom. And I didn't realize that I was holding myself captive, and that was preventing me from being free. So
Wow.
that brings
Oh,
me.
word. Oh, word though. Let's not skip past that. Some of us are holding our that is real shit. A lot of
Yeah.
us are holding our own selves captive. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, like, it's just, I think that realization hit me like a ton of bricks, that
Yeah.
I thought it was all these external things why I didn't feel free, but it was me. It's me. I won't allow myself to I won't allow myself to feel. I won't reveal myself to people, or and not that I won't, but I have difficulty. So if I want to be free, I have to allow myself to be. I have to be honest. I have to
Right.
be myself. And it wasn't that I wasn't free. It's just I wasn't being honest. I didn't feel like I had the permission to set myself free.
Yeah.
So now I am chipping away at all these locks and all of these walls that I've built around myself. And I feel like
Hmm.
that's a common theme in all of our podcasts when it comes to me, is that I've
Hmm.
just kind of locked myself in this neat little box or trunk. Um, and then tied an anchor to it, and then let that sink all the way down to the bottom of the ocean, that in the middle of the Bermuda Triangle somewhere. So, um,
Wow.
so
You
I'm
lost, sis.
working. Yeah, lost, completely lost. Can't get to it at all. But I'm rediscovering myself,
Oh
and
my God.
yes, and that's how freedom is showing up for me.
That's
So, and
dope.
how am I coping with all of this?
Yeah.
It's just to I'm mainly staying open
Hmm.
and to see how it plays out, because
Dope.
I find myself wanting to retreat. I'm like, nah, like, lock this hoe back up, drown this hoe. But but it's just gonna rise again. It's just gonna come back up for
Mm.
healing. So I'm just really just trying to say, okay, let's see how this works out. Let's
Yeah.
see how this can be for the better.
Hmm.
So I find myself surrendering more,
Hmm.
or trying to, at least. Well, I'm going to say
Yeah.
I'm doing it. I'm surrendering in the best way that I can.
Yeah.
I am continuing to work with my life coach, who is still working with me, so that's great.
That's dope.
I'm practicing meditation, something that I completely resented in the
Mhm.
past because I didn't want to sit still and be silent. And I'm realizing that that's a big piece of it. That
Yeah.
me always wanting to do and be on the go was part of me kind of running away from myself,
Yeah.
you know? So that's part of it. And I am allowing myself to feel how I feel and
Mm-hmm.
honoring my feelings by taking time when I need it. I,
Yeah.
I'm used to putting a lot of pressure on myself to work when I don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big piece. And like I said before, I'm allowing myself to not be perfect and to be human. And lastly, this is the last one, I promise. I am watching and observing how things are unfolding and having faith that the moves I am making now will take me to where I want to be in the future. So I'm staying in the present, doing the
Mm-hmm.
work that I feel I need to do in the present that will hopefully create this joyous future that I want for myself.
That's incredible. That is
Yes.
really incredible. That's beautiful. I'm so glad we did this episode. Like seriously,
Right.
like I am impressed with the allowance of the universe to in both of our lives to just take us where I feel like you're right. Our intentions have both mirrored each other, and your freedom, my thrive. It just looked like letting go
Yeah.
and stop
Yeah.
trying to be in control. We're both very controlling,
Yes.
people. Like everything just has to be just so. And I think with relinquishing some of that control and recognizing that the universe is going to take us where
Mm,
we're supposed to go if we are not trying to steer backwards. We're not trying to steer to the left when to the right is the promised land. So
right.
I am I am so in love with this episode and just this understanding and just the dicking down of it, just allowing us to recognize how releasing and letting go has been so beneficial for us both. Like, I don't
Right.
know. I am. I don't know. This is just it's awesome.
I agree because I at first when I suggested this topic, I was really excited, and
Uh-huh.
then like when it was time for me to do the outline, I'm like, what am I gonna write?
Yeah.
Like, you know, and I really had to think about it,
Hmm.
and I'm really glad that I did because if I didn't sit down and really, if I wasn't forced to be still and silent and think about it,
Hmm.
then
Hmm.
I wouldn't have realized how freedom was showing up because I'm like, I feel like I am in captivity.
Yeah.
I don't feel free, especially with COVID going on. I'm like, this is the
Right.
opposite of freedom. How can I be free if
Right.
we're all locked up inside?
Right.
But
Right.
it's like you were locked up anyway. And I'm like,
Mm.
oh.
Wow.
I was locked up in my fears and my
Yeah.
anxiety. So I'm
Yeah.
not saying that I got completely free. I still got some months, but it is something that's I'm it's like I've just become more conscious of it. So it's something
Mm.
that I will have to continue to do probably for the
Right.
rest of my life.
Hmm.
So, but I am glad we did this. I am glad that I came to this realization. I did not
Yeah.
expect this to come up,
Right.
and I'm just all the better for it.
Hmm.
And just talking about this with you and seeing like, because I just watching how your intention has shown up for you, I'm just like, wow, that's amazing. Like,
Mm.
that's exactly what freedom was supposed to look like for me. Dang, I'm just kidding.
You're so ridiculous.
But no, I'm like, I can see it. I don't know.
Hmm.
Can you see like freedom? And I know it's like it's weird to ask now because I've just said it. But can you even see it in
I
like
mean, that's why I was saying, like, I wanted to give you your kudos because, like I said, from when I met you to now, just the vulnerability that you've had with yourself, the realization of certain things. Like I've seen you dicking down things outside of conversations that we're having for the podcast. I see you being vulnerable with yourself. I see you being vulnerable with Lacey. Like I see the conversations that we have, and that's why when you said that this is what your freedom looks like I don't know that I necessarily um correlated to freedom, but
who
when you brought it up, I'm like, you're absolutely right. Like because I saw that progress in you, and I was like, okay, come through. I see you working through shit. I see you sitting with shit. I see you understanding shit. Like it's just I saw that already, but then when you correlated to the freedom, I was just like, yes, sis, that's definitely it. Free yourself when your mind will follow. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like definitely I saw that, but I don't know that I necessarily correlated it to freedom. But I definitely once you put it there, it's so obvious. It's so obvious.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think overall I probably am a tad bit more free as a person.
Oh, a tad.
Yeah.
Well, we got 6 more months for you to just go on and say I'm free.
Right. Then I'll be a smidge.
Smidge. Oh Lord, not a smidge. A little bit. You gonna get to a little bit.
A
Year
little bit.
three.
Yeah, maybe year 3.
Maybe
Yeah.
next year. Year three. I can't with you. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well then let's just recap.
Okay.
At the beginning of this year, both Rita and myself set out for different things. Rita, freedom, and for myself to thrive. For
Mhm.
me, I had no idea how that would look, but it manifested itself in a multitude of ways for which I am grateful. For Rena, she had a set idea of what freedom would look like. It did not happen to turn out that way, but instead, she has been freed of her own captivity, and for that, she is grateful. So, in the end, both of our intentions have shown up in a variety of ways to change our lives for the better. We're grateful to have set this intention and to be revisiting it, to have an understanding of how the universe is showing up and showing out in our lives. And like, it's just been dope. So that's the recap.
Yeah. And we'll
Yeah,
probably be doing this again at the end of the year.
we will.
We
Yes, we
will.
will.
And I just want to
Annually.
add, and I just want
Okay.
to add that I
Okay.
tried not to have expectations of what freedom would look like,
Yeah.
but I still had them. So,
Yeah.
and that forced the universe to do like a sneak attack. I wasn't as open as I thought I was, but it's
Uh,
okay. And it's okay
okay.
because the universe will handle you. That's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. I said a sneak attack. I know that's real. Um, do we want to do any shout outs? Did you have any shout outs that you wanted to do?
Oh, just the usual, you know, dear Lacey, thank you for supporting us, and to looking into our data and staying on top of us always, just for always being available and just coming with the energy for this podcast. But just everybody who listens to our podcast, who have offered criticism, and I mean that in the best way. So critiques, I would say is a better word. Just tips and strategies to make our podcast better,
Yeah.
because that's one thing I have noticed is that we've gotten better, and
Yeah.
that's amazing, and we've gotten better because of a lot of the feedback and the interaction that we've had from our listeners. So
Yeah.
thank you, and shout out to all of you.
Agreed. I want to say thank you and ditto to everything that Rena said. And I also want to say thank you to Rena for again showing up for me and also holding space for me. You've been a part of, a group of people that have been able to hold space for me so that I don't have to hold it all on my shoulders alone. And I do want to say thank you. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I also do just want to take the time to shout out anyone else, everyone else who has been a part of this journey, good, bad, and otherwise. Like you've been a tremendous part of my growth. And I just want to say shout out to all of y'all or whatever.
Or whatever.
Or whatever. Okay, so is there anything else before we wind down? Would you like to say anything else?
No, I think I'm like chill. I think this red jasper just has me just on lock. We cool.
Okay.
So we can just go ahead and do
Okay,
this
Red Jasper.
meditation. Right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. If you're new, this is my favorite part. And if you are a return listener, then you already know we're going to do a little bit of meditation. We're going to do a little bit of breathing and we're going to set our intention. So, what I need you all to do is take a big, deep breath with me. We'll take a second deep breath. We'll take one more big, deep breath. And now we'll set our intentions. My intention is continue to let the universe take its course, to allow me to thrive and to allow me to prosper and allow me to be who I am supposed to be.
Okay. And my intention is to remain open, to the universe's direction, because I know what I want, which is joy, but I do not know everything and I do not know how to get there. So just to remain open and leaning on that faith and leaning on support to get me to where I want to be.
That's beautiful. Okay, we'll take a last set of deep breaths. Take a big deep breath with me. We'll take a second deep breath. And we'll take our last deep breath. All right. Your intentions have been set for the day. Go out there and flourish, sis. Today doesn't have to be a mess.
But it's okay if it is.
So, Liz, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in again. We want to appreciate all the contributions, like Rena said earlier, any constructive criticism that we've been given. We appreciate all of the interaction on the lives. They have been so much fun. And that brings me to my closing remarks, which is drum roll, please. I mean, we can't really do a drum roll. Okay, air drum roll if you're watching the video. We want you guys to know that we are doing a virtual live podcast on September the 11th. And we want you to join us as we dig down a topic to be announced shortly before that episode. And we actually will be together in the same room. And we haven't done that since the start of this podcast. So, we're both so very excited. So yeah, I don't know. I'm really excited, and I hope you guys join us. We will be able to give you the time and the topic a little bit beforehand, so you can kind of prepare yourself. But please join us. We would love to see your beautiful faces. This will probably be Zoom. I don't know if I said that, so that we have, we can see you guys and dig things down. So bring pen, paper, and be prepared to discuss a topic. If you have topic ideas for this Zoom, something that you've been pondering or chewing on, let us know. We are open to ideas as far as the topic goes. We also want to let you know that when it's safe to do so, we are toying with the idea of doing an in-person live event. Slide in our DMs and let us know if you'd be interested. And one more thing to be on the lookout for is merchandise. Okay, this idea is new, but we just want to get you in the minds thinking about it. If you'd be interested in something specific, don't be afraid to shout it out and let us know. Is there anything you would like to add, Mrs. Rina?
I just want to make it clear that when you slide in our DMs, let us know if you'd be interested in a live in-person event.
Yes.
We're not interested in any, and topics and merch.
And merch.
Don't just be sliding in DMs.
You can slide in. Just make sure you specify that.
You slide in and specify that it's for Jessica. Yes, exactly. You can slide into Jessica's DM. Yes.
My DMs are wide open. Slide on in, sis. Slide in, sis.
So I'll make it clear.
Oh, Lord. I didn't even think about that. You're so ridiculous. Anyway, this is the end of the episode now. Now we just, bullshitting or whatever. But thank y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. We love y'all so much. And we'll catch y'all on the flip side.
Peace.
It's a mess.
Hey, that's why I can't sing.
It's okay. He's gonna talk over my singing though. Okay, it's ready now.